Hello everyone, this is Teacher Chen from Kangaroo Study and welcome back to our YouTube channel again. Now, in this video, we are going to discuss this interesting yet challenging problem. This involves Teacher Chen, Teacher Smith, and this dog that's running back and forth between them. So, to understand what happens here, let's take a look at the question together. Now, according to the question, Teacher Chen and Teacher Smith, they start running towards each other from two locations that's 100 km apart, traveling at a speed of 6 km per hour and 4 km per hour respectively. Now, Teacher Chen brings a dog that starts running towards Teacher Smith at 10 km per hour. When the dog meets Teacher Smith, it turns around to chase Teacher Chen, and when it meets Teacher Chen, it turns back to chase Teacher Smith. So on and so forth until Teacher Chen and Teacher Smith they meet again. So what's the total distance the dog has traveled here? So now everyone looking at this question, what's our first impression? We can notice so many information given to us. So how can we capture all the information here? Let's check what's the first important information here. We can notice there's the distance between them at first. This 100 km between Teacher Chen and Teacher Smith. What's the next important information? Yes, this is the speed of Teacher Chen and Teacher Smith. So according to the question, Teacher Chen the speed is 6 km per hour. Teacher Smith the speed is 4 km per hour. Now, the next important information is about the dog traveling speed. So this dog that Teacher Chen brings, it travels at speed of 10 km per hour. So then we know that this dog it travel back and forth between two of them. So how can we show all this information clearly? This is where we use a route diagram. So in this route diagram, first we draw a straight line. This represents the distance between Teacher Chen and Teacher Smith. So we know this is 100 km. Then after that, let's get Teacher Chen, Teacher Smith. Of course, the next important thing is that we have to label all the important information in the diagram. So Teacher Chen, suppose now he is traveling to the right. We know the speed is 6 km per hour. Now for Teacher Smith, since they are traveling towards each other, so Teacher Smith must be going to the left. Now traveling at speed of 4 km per hour. Is that all the important information? No, this is not everything, right? We also have this cute little dog, which is traveling at speed of 10. So since at first it's also traveling towards Teacher Smith, it must also be traveling to the right. So this is at speed of 10 km per hour. Now we have gathered all the important information. The next question for us is, how do we find the total distance the dog has traveled? So let's think. Now about this, we have to know what are the paths traveled by the dog throughout this journey here. So let's check. At first, Teacher Smith and the dog, they travel towards each other. So they are going to meet some point along the line here. At first, the dog and Teacher Smith, they are going to meet each other. Now my next question for you is, where is Teacher Chen now? Has Teacher Chen met Teacher Smith yet? No, definitely he has not met Teacher Smith yet, because Teacher Chen is traveling at a slower speed compared to the dog. So he is somewhere behind the dog. Now what's going to happen next, everyone? We can see that this dog, it didn't just stop there. It's going to turn around now, trying to chase Teacher Chen. So when it turns around, let's say they meet here. What's going to happen next is that this dog, it will turn around, travel towards Teacher Smith now. So it just goes back and forth between two of them until finally Teacher Chen, Teacher Smith, they eventually meet each other. So we're going to realize, we have so many routes here. Now if we want to find each of the single routes here, it will be very difficult. So how can we find the total distance here, everyone? Of course, instead of finding all of them together, we can also consider these routes together. If we treat them as a whole group, so then we can just use the formula to find the distance. Now everyone, let me ask you, how do we find the distance? This is where we use the speed and the time. So distance equal to the speed multiplied by the time. So for those of you, if this is the first time you are dealing with the travel problems, and you are not quite sure about what's the relationship between distance, the speed, and the time, no worries everyone, just send me a message so I will show you another introductory video on the relationship between these three things. And after viewing that video, it will be much easier for you to solve our question here. Now back to our question. So this distance is the speed multiplied by the time. Of course, we are finding the dog's traveling distance. We have to find the dog's traveling speed. Everyone, do we know the dog traveling speed? Yes, this is given in the question. So we know that this bike is just 10 km per hour. Now the question is, how about the time here? Oh, we can see that this time is not given to us. So now the question becomes, how do we find the time the dog has traveled? Of course, if we want to find the time something or someone has traveled, we must know that when it has started and when it will finish. So let's check the starting one. At first, the dog starts together with teacher Bo Jian. And when does it stop? We can see that this dog stops together with teacher Smith. This is until teacher Bo Jian and teacher Smith meet again. So eventually it will be teacher Bo Jian and teacher Smith meet each other, then the dog will also stop here. So then we can realize when teacher Bo Jian has started, the dog has also started. Now when teacher Bo Jian has stopped, the dog has also stopped. So we know that this dog's traveling time compared to the meeting time between teacher Bo Jian and teacher Smith, we know what's the relationship between them? Yes, this relationship is they are equal to each other. So now instead of finding the dog's traveling time, we can just find the meeting time between teacher Bo Jian and teacher Smith. Let's see what is the traveling time for teacher Bo Jian and teacher Smith in order to meet each other. So in order to solve this, let's check what's the distance traveled by them in every single hour here. We know that teacher Bo Jian traveled at speed of 6. Teacher Smith traveled at speed of 4. So for every single hour, they can travel 6 plus 4. This is 10 km per hour. So this distance traveled by 1 hour, we also have a speed for it. This is what we call the sum of speed, or we can say the speed sum. Now every single hour this is 10 km. How about 100 km in total? Now of course, now we have to use the division here. So we do 100 divided by 10. We find out that this is 10 hours in total. So this is what we call the meeting time between two of them. Now that we know the meeting time, it means that we also know about the dog's traveling time. So how do we find the distance again, everyone? Yes, now we can use the speed multiplied by the time to get the distance here. So the speed is 10, the time is also 10, 10 times 10. We find out the distance traveled by the dog, this is 100 km, which is also the answer for our question here. So now that we are clear about this question, let's do a summary on the question here. So in this question, we realize it's not the normal type of meeting problem, where it only involves two persons. This time around, we also have a dog that's traveling back and forth between two of them. So of course, for this dog, because it's not always going in the same direction, it's difficult for us to find all the every single path that's traveled by the dog. So then, in this case, we can see that for problems that involves many segments here, what we can do is that we can treat all these segments, all the individual paths traveled by the dog, as one whole group. After treating it as a whole group, now we just have to find the total distance. So of course, to get the total distance, we can just use the speed of the dog multiplied by the time traveled by the dog. And in this case, what does the dog traveling time equal to, everyone? Yes, this is also equal to the meeting time between teacher Smith and teacher Bo Jian. So we know that dog's traveling distance is the dog's speed multiplied by the meeting time between two of them. Now that we understand this question, you can try the practice question here. After you are done with the practice question, you can send your answers in the comment below. And if you want to know more about the math training in our center and the most updated information about events that's happening here, make sure to join our work WhatsApp group here. And if you have enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to our channel as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.